Hey, um, so today is Tuesday, November 26th, and I think it was 2 days ago when the Jewish community found out that Rabbi Kogan was murdered in a terrorist attack. He was first kidnapped on Thursday, and they found him, I believe, on Sunday. And like that it I mean, there's so much happening in the Jewish community that I feel like most of the world, like 99% of the world, does not care about. Like a rabbi was murdered and kidnapped and murdered for running a kosher grocery market. And what really gets me is the fact that he was like a Chabad rabbi. And if you know me, like, I'm very involved with my Chabad house at my school. And it's just crazy because Chabad people, all their whole thing is literally like moving across the world to be a place for Jewish people. So if you're a Jew who's visiting Thailand, like if you need a place to sleep, or if you need like a meal, or any kind of like, if it was a Jewish holiday and you needed a place to celebrate, like you could go to their house. Their whole thing is about being there for other Jews. Sorry. Like leaving their homes and going across the world to be that light and home for other Jewish people. Now, being a Chabad rabbi is a very special thing, and not only was V. Kogan a Chabad rabbi, he was a Chabad rabbi in a Muslim country, which is very rare because most Muslim countries would not let Jews come in, and if they did, it would not be safe for them. And so the fact that this was a country that let him in, let him be the light for any Jewish travelers or residents, like, he was doing something very special. And what was the repercussions for just, spreading his light? He was murdered, and he was kidnapped and murdered. And I don't know, it's just crazy to me because it's like, just a couple weeks ago, there was an attack on Jews in Amsterdam where they were beaten in the streets and they were thrown in the river and they're critically injured in the hospital. And like, the world does not care. The world doesn't care. Like, obviously these are two examples out of the hundreds. I mean, today I saw that somewhere in England, there was these flyers that were put out in a Jewish neighborhood saying that Zionists deserve to be killed. And they're not talking about, like, they're talking about Jews. They're just hiding it with the word Zionist. Like, that's what it really means. Why? Because, like, you don't treat any other situation like you treat this one. You don't hate any other country or any other nation more than you hate the Jewish people and their homeland. Like, it's crazy because in 2020, like, people were so awake and aware to, like, racism to black people in America and all over the world. Even if it seemed black and white, even if the person had been a criminal, like, it was still like a person's life was taken, and the whole world flipped upside down for that. Now, a rabbi was just kidnapped and murdered, and people don't even know about that. When I Googled UAE news, that was like not even the headline. That was not even the main thing. I had to kind of like, for it. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just needed to vent this out because, like, Okay, this is not comfy. Listen, I'm lucky to be safe, for now. I'm lucky that I don't live in a place anymore where it's constantly being bombed, but it really isn't safe for Jewish people. Whether people know that or not, whether people realize that or not, whether you're secular or not, people hate Jews. And the world doesn't care about it. Which, I'm not here to be like, pity party, whatever. I'm just like, wow, it's like the world cares about any other group that's being hurt except for mine. That's so weird. That's so interesting how nobody cares. Literally no one cares. Which, I'm not forcing you to, but it's like, wow. Point in case, you hate the Jews. You don't hate Zionists. You hate Jewish people. Because, there's a lot of non-Jewish Zionists, and you're probably not harassing them. Well, maybe you are, which is, again, a case where you're just, a lunatic, which most people who are acting like this are. It's just, you're not going to go and kidnap and shoot the Zionist Chinese family, you're going to do that to Jewish people. You could do that to Chinese Jewish people, but I don't mean to be saying this in such a negative way, but it's everything that's going on is shaking me, but wow, a Chabad rabbi? A Chabad rabbi. And when you look at the news sources of the ones that hate us, Al Jazeera, everyone in the comments is justifying it. Well, he had ties to Israel, so it's justified. What? He was a Chabad rabbi. He was a rabbi that dedicated his life, that he moved away from his home, away from his friends, away from his family, away from his community, away from everything that he knew, to go live in a foreign country, of a country with a majority that hates him. That is so uncomfortable. And why? To be there for other Jewish people. And you kidnapped him and you murdered him. It's crazy to me. It's crazy that there's so many people around me, people that I grew up with, who are mourning the deaths of brown Hitlers and modern day brown Hitlers and terrorists and people who want to not only kill every Israeli, people who want to kill every Jew. That's what it is. That's what it is. Okay, if you think otherwise, you don't know enough about these people. They're mourning their deaths on Instagram, and it's obviously the last thing that they care about is a Chabad rabbi being killed. It's crazy to me. It's crazy. What is this group of people gathering out? Okay, anyways. Yeah, those are my thoughts. My thoughts are that I don't think Jewish people are safe, and I really mean that. And I mean that in the sense that being Jewish is a dangerous thing. I'm not talking about me walking down the street, I'm going to get shot. But Jewish people are literally getting shot though. It's not safe anymore. That's what I'm saying. And I wish the world would wake up and see that all of that is really just a disguise and a mask for anti-Semitism. And I don't think people fully realize that. But until they realize that this is being treated disproportionately to any other thing in the world that's going on, anything that's ever happened in the world, and is being blown up to be something that they've never thought about any other country as. Why? Point in case. And before you say anything, most of the people who are calling for the ending of a country and ending of a people are from countries that have killed their own people with like gas and bombs, 500,000 in a day, okay? Like, there are people who come from countries that do that stuff and don't really care, or left those countries to come to like a place like Canada or America because of that. And then they bring that same hatred that they're trying to escape and they bring it here, and they're like, oh, Jews, boom. I was taught to hate you because my grandparents hated you because our country told us to hate you, and now and our textbooks taught us to hate you, and our religion taught us to hate you, and here, boom, here. Now I'm going to bring that to the Jews here. Which, if you hate it here so much because the Jews are running everything, just go back to the country that was being bombed by your own people. Sorry. I know I'm speaking very vaguely, but if you know, you know. Anyways, that's what I'm saying. That's my thoughts. And I keep thinking about his wife. She's in her 20s. Like, this is a woman who's in her 20s who left everything behind to be there with her husband to support other Jews, and now she's all alone in a country full of people that, well, UAE is a bit interesting, but in a country where a lot of people don't like her and don't like where she's from, and now she's all alone because her husband was kidnapped and murdered. And they're going to say it's because he was Israeli. He wasn't even full Israeli. But it's really because he's Jewish. And until people realize that, they're going to continue to support this. They're going to continue to ignore all this violence and this hatred and this anti-Semitism. And until they realize, no. It's never been about that. And it never will be about that. Because this energy does not go anywhere but when it's the Jews. So. But I don't want to leave it on such a bad note, okay? Like, I will say this. In lieu of everything that's going on, I've had a couple people in my life come out of this bush that they've been hiding in and be like, hey, I support you. I think whatever else is going on is BS. It's hatred. It's anti-democracy. It's anti-humanism. It's anti-positive. It's anti-everything good, okay? And I support you. My family supports you. And we're with you. And so that has really warmed my heart, you know? Like, being able to know that there are some people out there that don't hate us and actually see the truth of what's actually going on. And recognize that it's just anti-Semitism at the end of the day, whether they will ever admit that or not. Also, I saw this funny post on Pinterest where it's like, Hashem, grant me the confidence of these non-Jews telling me what is and what isn't anti-Semitism. Because I'm like, true. I remember being like 16 and being on Instagram and seeing like 14-year-old non-Jews being like, well, it's not anti-Semitism because it's like, honey, no. Anyways, if you are Jewish and you're watching this, don't be afraid to go to your Chabad houses. Now more than ever, we need to show them that we're not going to stop. We're not going to stop being Jewish. We're not going to stop believing in what we believe. We're not going to stop defending ourselves. And they can try all they want. It only makes us stronger. It only makes us stronger, okay? Like, as soon as that happened, there was a Patreon not a Patreon, like a fundraiser that went up for the wife. It was like within a week. Less than a week. Oh my gosh. Like within like 3 days, it's almost at 1 million. Almost at 1 million. Jews from all over the world just handing out money to this this wife, you know? The community is insane. And we're only stronger when they try to put us down. And you know what? I'm going to leave with this. There was a hostage, and her name's Sapir Cohen, and I actually got to see her live and tell this story. And she talked about how before October 7th, before being held hostage, she was like secular, like nothing connected to Judaism. And when she got into, when she was being held hostage, she was being held hostage with a bunch of kids. And they were obviously going crazy. And she thought to herself, okay, there's a purpose why I'm here. I'm going to be the light, and I'm going to support these kids, and I'm going to be there for these kids. And so she kind of tried to distract them. And then also she felt very spiritual because it was like a time of crisis, and like the only place that she felt like she could go to was God. Something that she had put on the back burner her whole life. She was like, I'm going to pray every day, and we're going to sing these prayers and all that. And then one day, one of the Hamas pigs, came and brought her a candle. And she was like, what is this candle for? And he was like, this is a light, and you are a light, okay? And it was like, she said something like, we want to kill you. We want to destroy your people. We want you all dead. But we can't do that while you're being a light. And we can't, he was like, I want to kill you, but I can't. There's something stopping me because you're a light. And I see it. And as long as your people are strong and united, we will never destroy you. Literally, that's what happened to her. Being held by a Hamas, I don't even know what word to use next. The Hamas pig said that to her. Okay? Like, that's crazy. Our own enemies recognize our strength and how powerful we are and what a light we are. And most of the world cannot see that and will never understand that until it's too late. So, like I said, if you're Jewish, I get it. Because in safety, you know, if you're in a place where you think that you're going to be put in danger, like, obviously take care of yourself. But this is the last thing you need to do, is to stop being Jewish and stop being proud to be Jewish and stop telling people you're Jewish unless it like is actually going to harm your life. Okay? Like, we are stronger together, and even our own enemies have admitted that, okay? Okay? So, that's it for today.